Good afternoon, everyone. A sincere welcome to all of you and sincere appreciation from the family as we gather here to honor and remember Elizabeth. For those of you who are joining us via Zoom, may I suggest that you please mute your microphones at home, please. Thank you. Before we begin, a few weeks ago, I received a phone call from a woman that I went to high school with. And she had received her high school alumni letter. And she said she was shocked to find out that her name was listed in the in memoriam column of the alumni newsletter. And she said after she got over the shock of seeing her name there, she started asking herself questions about her own life. She said, well, when I pass, what will they say about me? What will people say about me? What will be on my tombstone? Will my presence here, will it have made any difference to anyone? Well, I think all of us who are gathered here today to honor Elizabeth, this is a very profound witness that Elizabeth touched many, many lives, not only those of us who are here today in Salt Lake City, but for those of us who are on joining us via Zoom. So we are here to give great thanks for the life that was Elizabeth and for the gift that she was to all of us. If you'd please bow your heads and join me in prayer. Almighty and loving God, the death of Elizabeth recalls our human condition and the brevity of our lives on earth. Our life is a gift from you on trust for a very short time, and then we return to you. But for those who believe in the gift of love, who believe in love, death is not the end, nor does it destroy the bonds of love and friendship that you forge in our lives. In our grief, we turn to you and pray that Elizabeth, who you have called out of this world, will find perfect peace in your kingdom, where every tear and sorrow and every trace of human frailty will be wiped away. We pray as well for Pamela, her loving, devoted partner of 45 years, and for all who knew and loved Elizabeth, that your peace, which is beyond all human understanding, will surround them. Amen. To begin our memorial for Elizabeth this afternoon, I would like to invite Bobby Groberg to read a poem, Wild Geese, by Mary Oliver.
You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles to the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love and what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you about mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself your imagination, calls you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things.
Thank you, Bobby. We'll now hear remarks by Mercedes Henrik, and she'll be followed immediately by Christina in that order.
And they're on Zoom.
On Zoom.
We're on Zoom. Hi, everybody. As you can see in my background, Lib was part of an amazing lifetime, and my sister and I, Teeny, were a big part of her life. And as you can see, we're on the top of a bus. My father thought that was a good way to take us to the beach. And in these days, it would have been child abuse. But just to give you a little bit of an insight as to what Lib witnessed throughout our lives, I just wanted to give you a peek into how Lib to us, became a part of the Henrik clan. According to Mom, Lib stayed at our inn, the Birkin House, as a guest the first year we were open. And the next year, she called Mom, and Mom hired her, and the rest is history. Her life was forever changed. Little did she know then what lay in front of her. She not only became my mother, I'm sorry. She not only became my mother.
I missed all the emails because I was playing in the I was playing in the club championships today.
Oops.
I played against Hillary Green and I lost by her sinking a par putt on the 18th hole.
Can we
No, she was up by 2. I came back. I was up by 1 at the best. And then we were even, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down.
Can the meeting person
coming to 17
mute that
18.
person?
And she sunk an unbelievable par putt. And I had
Are you
I
kidding?
know, and I had a great, I had a great time.
Hello. Welcome to Zoom.
And then she just sunk a putt,
Oh.
which really forced me to really throw one in there. And
I'm not sure who that is. Okay, are we back? I'm sorry. Okay. And I'm going to just start over. She not only became my mother's right hand and best friend, but she became an integral part of our family. The Birkin House staff lived in the downstairs of our house. And in those days, and Lib was the happy recipient of a 3-year-old every morning. I would pad down the stairs in my onesie at 5 a.m. Oh my goodness, she probably just barely went to bed at midnight after shutting down the bar, and I would crawl into her bed. I remember her putting her arm around me, and she would read me Beatrice Potter books. I still have all of them, until I fell asleep again and she could get a little more shut-eye. How lucky were my parents? How lucky was I? Liv lived downstairs for most of my childhood until she built her own house. And thank God it wasn't too far away, as Teeny and I would hightail it down there often and be served yummy Lib granola and later in life, the best coffee on the planet. Her home was a respite from the inn where there were always commotion, guests, and staff. As part of our family, and mind you, that included all the staff, some guests, and the ski school staff, you often had to endure parties at the top of the mountain. And yes, getting all that food, booze, and everything up to the top of the mountain, a challenge I'm sure she was in charge of. And often you had to dress up in costume. Fasching in Austria celebration in February, just to mention one, we seem to always be dressing up, as well as umpteen celebrations and constant fun, hard work. And in Austria, Christmas was on Christmas Eve. Christmas was an orchestrated event, to say the least. First, we would have Christmas with us and Lib. Then we would have Christmas with the hotel staff. And then the ski school staff would join us. Needless to say, an eventful evening. Every single human was not without a present. And Mom and Lib, amazing, making sure all those displaced Austrians felt love. As a part of the immediate Henrik family, you had to put up with, yes, emo my dad's adventures. Mom always needed support here, as Dad was forever off on some harebrained adventure, leaving Mom to hold up the fort. The other task was putting up with the antics of Anne's kids, Teeny and me. One summer, the plan was for Lib to shuttle us off, and we were joined by my friend Kim from Westport for the summer to a spot in Corsica, France. Like herding cats, I'm sure, through 3 airports. and finally arriving exhausted only to find out our luggage had been lost. The next day, we headed to the local town to buy some clothes and most importantly, bathing suits. As we sorted through the offerings, Lib is like, how come there are only bottoms? Where are the tops? Poor Lib and Kim. My answer, of course, shocked them as we didn't inform them earlier. Well, there are no tops. In France, you go topless. Their faces were priceless. But days later on the beach, it didn't seem to matter as everyone was getting brown in places that are usually white. As the Birkin House grew, she was an active part of its great success. Mom and Lib were an amazing team and made things happen through thick and thin. The stories are endless. Lib was a constant presence in and around Stratton, woven deeply into the community, a steadfast, stable, kind, ever-present, solid, loving human being. Personally, the dream my ex-husband and I had of owning a motorcycle shop in my later years was made possible because Lib and Pam's generosity and constant support. To make a long story short, Teeny and I are the people we are in part because of our constant, stable, loving input. Elbows off the table and don't slump. In our hectic, crazy Henrik existence, she always was there supporting both my parents and being our loving Libib to Teeny and me. With Pam, a pillar in our little world and ever present throughout our lives. Oh, Libib, we will always love you and miss you daily. Hope you're keeping track of Dad and keeping him company, and most importantly, out of constant trouble. So without further ado, I give you my sister Teeny, who can fill in the gaps. Teen, are you there?
I don't know how to do this.
No, you're
Hello?
doing fine. Just say something. We can hear you.
Yeah, but how come you can't see me?
I'm not sure.
Wait a minute. What do I tap? The little,
Teeny,
little-
on the
little
bottom
video.
left, there's a videos. There's a little video sign, and if you hit the video sign, your picture should come up on the bottom left of your screen.
Now she hit her microphone.
Oh,
There
no,
you go.
there she is.
Now turn on your microphone. Turn on
Yep.
your microphone.
oh, okay.
It just
And now you can hear me and you can see me?
yes.
Okay. So, happy day to everyone. And I'm just wanted to thank Pam for having a wonderful celebration of life for Lib, because it's so much nicer to have a celebration of life than something else, because Lib was really worth celebrating. I am in a real live background. And if you can see, I have my horses there and I have all the ducks, geese, and chickens. And one of the things that Lib taught me throughout my life was how to have kindness and love for animals. And all the time when I was young, she had a dog named Sally, who was a little English Springer Spaniel with one blue eye and one brown eye. And I remember every day she would walk Sally. And Sally wasn't that smart, you know. Sally would go around in circles all the time, and she would just wait till Sally was done going around in circles. But what she taught me was to have patience. Oh, and those are my geese, and they always are talking too. At any rate, Liv was really instrumental in my life with animals. She was a horse lover. And when I was very young, the geese want to say something too. When I was very young, she would take me to riding lessons, and she brought me to Michigan where she had 2 horses. I'm going to have to go away from the geese because they really want to be part of the conversation here. And she had a horse named Chippy and another horse named Muffy. And those were her 2 thoroughbreds. And she had a picture of those 2 horses everywhere she went, an 8x10. And I never met Muffy because Muffy wasn't alive anymore when I went to Michigan. But I did meet Chippy, and I met some of the other horses that she had at the farm there in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. And her mom would take us Jerusalem artichoke picking, and she had a wonderful big garden. And I really learned how to love nature. And also, Liv had asthma. And this was kind of a really interesting thing when I was younger, because she never got excited or lost her nerve or lost her composure. And part of it was because I think she had to keep breathing. And that's a really important thing to learn, is that no matter what happens, you have to keep the calm. And she was always a calming influence on me when my life was a little bit upside down quite often. She would, I wonder if my battery is going out now. Oh, no. Anyway, I'll talk quickly. I miss Liv very much, but it's very interesting. The day that Liv passed away, my son found a little kitten in my barn that was about just a tiny little baby, and it was meowing, and I named it Libby. So Liv is with me all the time. Little Libby is in the barn, and I believe that souls come back to you in various forms, and I'm sticking to that. Anyway, thank you all. I don't know what you look like, but I hope that you all have a wonderful time and enjoy Liv's past and think about memories of her. I certainly do miss her a lot. She was a huge part of my upbringing, and all my animals know how she taught me to be kind and patient with them. I miss you, Liv. Thank you.
At this point in the program, families ask that we open it up to for anyone who would like to share memories of Liv. And if I may suggest that we begin here in Salt Lake City to avoid the microphone back and forth, and then we can go to those of you who are joining us on Zoom, okay?
Thank you. I am Pam's cousin, Lincoln Beach. All I want to say is I hadn't seen Pam for quite a number of years. This was in the late 80s. And she called to say she was going to be in Southern California. And my brother Chris and I, who's here, we went down to San Diego, Pacific Beach, and met them. And for the first time, we met Liv. And I just remember we had a wonderful weekend together. We spent some quality time watching football and drinking beer and we just had a wonderful time. But I remember the feeling that I felt for my cousin. After meeting Liv, I just knew she was going to be okay. And that was going to be a good thing, you know, and for Liv as well, knowing my cousin like I do. So it was a warming feeling. I think the happiest maybe that I ever saw Liv was at our wedding. When Crystal and I got married in '93, Pam and Liv were among the last to leave. We had a band called the Surf Tones that played. We danced the night away. But I just remember the glow on your faces. It was special. Over the years, we had many occasions together at the houses, various houses, so many of them to keep track. But Liv always went out of her way to be incredibly welcoming. I always felt comfortable with her, really enjoyed talking with her, and I'm gonna miss her. So very sorry, Pam, but we loved her. So thank you very much.
I'm Jeff Hollingworth. I'm a friend of Pam and Liv's. I got up this morning and I cheated a little bit. I got on the website here and to double check the time, but I looked at this the video while I drank my coffee this morning, and I was reminded of several things about Liv and Pam. I was reminded about the first time I met Liv in the early 2000s because I went up to Pam and Liv's home, for the first time and met them. And I walked in and I met them. And first thing that Lib offered me, I met Lib and she was kind, she was gracious, calming. Met their animals, their dogs. Trooper. But Lib's instantly calming, gracious, kind, wants to know about you. And that was my first and lasting impression of Lib. And you get that sense of throughout seeing these pictures that I was so instantly happy to see. And I think, and then I got to see this morning, seeing all the many years of Lib's life and seeing how she was that way from day one. I also was reminded of what a life and marriage well lived looks like. I saw that ever since I met Pam and Lib, but I was also reminded of what that looks like. And that's an example to me. So I was grateful for that. I was reminded of just how much Pam, you cared for Lib in these last couple of years. And you need to be reminded of that. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this great reminder. So, and that's all I have to say.
Hi, my name's John Ledyard, and my dad, Alan, and Liv were brother and sister. First of all, I want to thank Mercedes and your sister for your wonderful stories. I had heard most of those stories about you and the Birkin house and bending knees and your dad and all that stuff, although I can guarantee you we did not hear about you guys running around France topless. That did not make it to my grandparents' house, I can guarantee you that. Couple recollections of Lib. First of all, you can't date any of these pictures because she looks exactly the same in every one of them. I mean, a few gray hairs came in there at some point, but you can't tell if that's the 50s or 2005. So that's kind of cool. Secondly, you guys were together for a really long time. That's a success in itself. Lib was very kind to me. I definitely remember the dogs. I don't remember all their names, but I remember feeding them carrots at Thanksgivings because I could get away with that if I didn't want to eat my vegetables. And Lib wouldn't mind. My grandmother might, but Lib would say nothing to that extent. She was one of my first relatives that let me drop the aunt in front of her name and call her Lib instead of Aunt Lib and lose some formality. She gave me my first big person skis, some Dynamique VR27s that I used for 3 or 4 years before I outgrew them. She was a very incredibly kind person. I think she had kind of a second go at it with you, Pam, and she had a tremendous amount of fun and wonderful adventures. My son is a freshman right now at Westminster, and we dropped him off at college, and I just got done texting him. I'm like, are you having fun? And he said, so much fun, and life's supposed to be fun. You're also supposed to be nice to people, and Lib was incredibly kind, whether it was to people or animals, and let's remember those parts about Lib. And thanks very much, everybody, for coming. Thanks very much.
We'd like to now open it up to those of you who are joining our service via Zoom. If you have any memories that you would like to share with us. Okay, proceed.
Yeah.
Our eulogy this afternoon will be offered by Sue Karen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sue Curran and live on the Cape in Massachusetts. My late husband, John, and I met Pam and Lib. When we lived in Los Angeles. Pam and I worked together. And boy, did we share a lot of adventures. Whether on the golf course or the ski mountain, the four of us had an extraordinary friendship, a lot of laughs, and now a lot of cherished memories. When I think of Lib, I think of a woman of elegance, grace, and patience. Her elegance, whether entertaining in Malibu or the Palisades, every event was perfect. To the delicious meals she prepared, to the gorgeous table she would set, everything sparkled beautifully. Grace, I think of Lib's golf swing and her skiing, as she was a fabulous athlete and made any sport look easy. She was graceful on the course as well as on the slopes. Patience, she lived with Pam, need I say more? One of the greatest honors of my life was seeing John live down the aisle when she and Pam surprised us, got married on September 3rd, 2013. In a matter of days, we cobbled together one of the greatest celebrations I've ever attended. Seeing Live with Pam with that special smile on her face and twinkle in her eye was a joy to behold. I was so flattered when Pam asked me to read her eulogy for her Liv. It means a lot to me, and I hope I do it justice. So here we go. Wish me well. I knew this day would eventually come, and I never wanted it to come. I first met Lib in 1976 at Stratton Mountain, Vermont, where I was a ski instructor and she managed the Birkham House, an Austrian inn, excuse me. Our first dates was in the Oak Room at the Plaza Hotel while we were on a trip to New York City. We were inseparable after that until I was offered an instructor job in the ski school at Squaw Valley, California. Lib encouraged me to go as she saw a future for me that at that time I could not see. It was one of the greatest gifts she ever gave me. Fast forward 8 years and we came together and lived our lives together until she left us. We lived extraordinary lives with great adventures all over the world. Our love of skiing was a shared passion. Lib even skied with Alzheimer's at 77 years old. And then there was the golf. As some have said, Lib had the most perfect golf swing and for many years was a single-digit handicap. We were fortunate enough to ski in the winter and play golf in the summer. Her love of dogs was legendary, and we always had 2 or 3 underfoot. They brought her great joy and comfort, and now she is with those pups that went before her. How can any of us forget Sally, Johnny, and the no bad dog Wafer, to name a few? What about those special wooden puzzles? There was always a puzzle going on the table, and she encouraged anyone who entered our home, the Double L Ranch, to come sit down and put a piece in the puzzle. She then taught us how all to tap the table, just as her mother had done when a piece fit. These pastime puzzles gave Lib and all of us more time to be with her. She loved fiercely and gave so much to those she loved. Lib loved to laugh, and she had the most energetic and engaging smile, and her laughter was infectious. And what a sense of humor. I remember being away on a business trip in Lima, Peru during the 1997 Japanese hostage crisis. A group of us were staying at a hotel next to the embassy when troops came to the hotel to stage a rescue, and we became confined to the hotel and unable to leave the country. I was petrified. Called Lib and asked her to find a way to get me out. In typical Lib fashion, she responded by saying, "What, do I look like I work for the CIA?" Lib always believed family was who was sitting around our dinner table. She was a fabulous cook and knew how to throw one hell of a party, whether it was a small, intimate dinner or a huge gathering with 100 people. It was always perfection. She shared my love of wine and learned to love the California wines as much as the French. Lib supported me in every way as a best friend and soulmate and a partner for life. She didn't always share the same passions with me, and yet she was willing to try everything, such as boating and scuba diving and traveling to exotic places around the world. She was the perfect travel partner, riding an elephant in Thailand or dancing with villagers in Fiji, or even diving in the coral sea of Australia. And when she could no longer do some of these activities, she wanted me to go anyway, explore, and to come back and tell her exactly what I had learned. Lib had a strong bond and love for the North Woods of Michigan at the Huron Mountain Club, where she fished and hiked and canoed with a company of many friends and family over the years. Her love of ice cream was well known throughout the world. She had to try every kind in every country we visited. She would disappear at random on a trip and could always be found at the local ice cream shop. She would usually find a kindred spirit on one of these adventures and had already and would always scope out where and when they would sneak off to get another scoop. In the last months of her life, I would sneak her out to find some ice cream. I will cherish those trips forever. Lib was very fond of saying there is nothing wrong. What? There is nothing wrong with me. Even after a stroke that stopped her in her tracks, she was insistent that she was just fine. And what amazed me, and what I learned from her illness, was just how much was still left after so much had been taken away. Her smile, her laughter, her sense of humor. She may not have known who you were at the end, but she had the ability to still brighten your day. Everyone who knew her loved her, even in the final days of a ravaging disease. We are so grateful to all the caregivers who enriched her life. Thank you, Craig, Angelique, David, Yessie, Joni, and Lauren, and those with both of us at the end, who truly were angels, helping her transition to her next adventure. Veronica, Jenny, Freddie, and Nurse Karen, and all the residents from Via Elegante in Tucson. A special shout out and a thank you to Arista Hospice, especially Nurse Dawn. Thank you all for coming today. Those of you here in person and those on Zoom. Fly free, Lib, fly free.
Listening to everyone's remarks, I was reminded of one of the great spiritual writers in my tradition. He said that in the end, the only thing that will matter, the only thing that we take out of here is love. And so from me to Pamela, thank you for the witness, and for all of you for the witness of love that you brought to all of us, because it's a gift we all need so very, very much right now. As a pause, a closing reflection, there is a journalist who was interviewing an aerial trapeze artist. And the journalist started out by asking, he said, how do you do this? He said, how do you perform so high up there without a safety net? How do you do it? And the trapeze artist smiled and he said, oh, he said, everyone thinks that I'm the star of the show, that I'm the reason they're here. He said, the real star of the show is the catcher. All I have to do is trust that he will be there to catch me. So may I leave this thought with you? Is it unreasonable to believe that on July 11th, God leaned down and whispered in Elizabeth's ear and said, I will be there when you make that big jump. Don't try to grab me. Just let go and trust and know that I will be there for you. I believe we have a closing musical number, the Hallelujah Chorus, I believe. You can't say that Zoom hasn't added an interesting dimension to it. Let's see if I can find a way to solve this.
Okay, thank you.
They don't know about this, the song, the closing song. So may I just close with a prayer, Pam? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Loving God, we thank you for the gift that Elizabeth was to us. We ask that your peace, which is beyond all human understanding, will surround us and be with us as we leave this place today. We thank you for everything that Elizabeth brought into our lives, and we ask that we will emulate her in our actions with one another, especially that we'll love and treat each other with great kindness, love, and good humor. Amen.
Yeah. I just see there's 35 people.
Hi, Pam.
Hi,
Pam.
hi, everybody.
Thank you, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi.
How are you,
Oh,
Pam?
great.
Beautiful
Hi,
service.
Vince. Thank you.
Beautiful
Margaret.
Hi, Margaret.
Thank you, Pam, for letting us in
Pammy.
service.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Love you.
Love you, Uncle Ed.
Love you,
Thank
Pam.
you.
Love you,
Love you,
sweet.
Pam.
Take
Thanks,
care.
guys. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having us, Pam.
Beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey,
Pam.
Hey, Frank.
Love you
Lynn.
guys. Miss you.
So good to see you guys.
I
love you, Pam. Beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
Oh, thank you, Shelley, Grady, so wonderful.
Hi, Pamela.
Thank you, Pam.
Pam. Hi,
Thank you for
Pamela.
including us. Pam, thank you so much for including me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad we were able to get this all connected. Thank you.
Hi, Pam.
Hey, Jim.
Thank you, Pam. That was beautiful.
Yeah, oh my God. What? Thank God you're alive, Jim. That's all I can say. Thank God.
But I have a second chance to be a better person.
Susan is here with me too.
So Pam, mom is on FaceTime and she can see you and she sends you love.
Hey, send her a big kiss for me.
I will.
Thank you.
Give her our love, Ben.
Okay.
Hey, Pam.
Okay.
Love you.
Okay.
Sending love, Pam.
All right, guys. Woo.
All right, carry on.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Beautiful service, Pam.
Oh, hey, guys. Oh, love you too. Can't wait to see you
Yep, very soon.
very soon. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know how you hired those geese. It was extraordinary.
The geese, yes.
The geese were great.
Perfect.
Really great.
We can thank Teeny for that.
Hey, pretty lady.
Sending love, Pam.
Hey,
Sending love.
Francis. Mwah. Hey, Carol.
Do this.
Bye, dear. I love you.
Love you. Thank you.
See me, Pam?
Including us. It was great to see you and great to hear Sue. What a great tribute.
Yeah, thanks for including me and getting me the links and everything. And I really enjoyed being able to link into the Starks page and seeing all the wonderful slideshow, like those pictures. Enjoyed it.
See the pictures.
Yeah.
Pam, this is Louis and Adrian.
Hey,
Thank you for
Louis.
including us in the ceremony.
It was a
It's very-
beautiful eulogy.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Adrian and
Yeah.
Louis.
We're a little new to this Zoom, so we can't figure out how to get the camera to go on.
It's Michael, Barbara, hi.
Great to see you. Thanks for including us.
Hey, guys.
Give Sue a hug from
So
us.
good to see you.
So good to see you.
Big hugs.
Can you see me, Pam? Hi, Pam.
Bye. See you soon.